Visan. Todai, let's talk about something very basic, but powerful. That our schuld inside the science of being calm, and not used in the mountains or in meditation, but around anuone and if here. You see, visan. Most people think peatse of is som mint is think you find hen, you run away from people. Move to the Himalayas, Yain an ashram, obe mute your moser in love on WhatsApp. That's not peatse, that's escaped. Real Sam is not about escaping people. It's about being untouched by them. Not that's powerful. Let me give you a small example. Visan, a young man came to me inside Sadhguru, I am fine vhen imalone. But vhen imaron people, me girlfriend, me boss, unwinslen. I get angry, nervous, frustrateteus. Fikant te bemore, like men, I said if everyone was like yo, son, yo would go mad. Yo would not bet psalm, yo be confused. Bet sauce jore not psalm vis yo eiser. Yo see, and this is the first setret, that dystopio is not the other person. It is your reaction to temps, Budvisan. Let me say that again fotose in the batsk. It's not the other person, it's your reacting. Don't try to fix the world, is your response. Let's go deeper. You think someone is annoying, you get angry. You think someone is intimidating, you feel nervous. But have you ever asked for press that button inside you? You did. You gave them the remote control. So the setret is takabatsk your remote control. If your peatse depends on others, visan, then even a dog barking or a hill crying will destroy your calm. That's not spirituality, that's slavery. Be a thermostat visan, not a thermometer. Nof some of you will say, po Sadhguru, it's easy for you to say, but vhadiv person is really toxic. Visan, the word toxic. Vel love vel labeling people, don't we? When oxids boss, iwa toxic relationship. A toxic ex, san. If you call toxic my used be someone hos deeply wounded, lost, or used doest me your expectations, visan. Let's not make everything a moral var. Instead of labeling someone ask, can I bet some around this house? If yes, you are the master. If not, they are. Take a badge the remote control of your inner experience. Visan. Now let me ask you something simple. Have you noticed that when you truly enjoy someone's company, they can say anything? Visan. And it doesn't disturb you, but when you don't like someone, even the way they have sounds like a personal insult. Visan. So what's happening here? The person is the same. It's your was hanging. Which brings us to the third setret. Visan. People are not the problem. Your judgment of them is. Don't leave like a thermometer constantly reacting. Visan. Be like a thermostat set your inner temperature, no matter the outer weather. Visan. Let's face it, most of us have been trained, knowingly or unknowingly, to believe that if the world outside us hangs, then we will finally feel God inside. We tell ourselves, if my boss becomes less annoying, il be more peaceful, visan. If my partner starts understanding me better, il be happy. If traffic was so bad, it be less angry, but visan. It is the story we keep repeating, and it's a story of helplessness. But also if your charm depends on fixing people, traffic, deve social media comments, and political nefs, then you're in for a lifetime of frustration. Nov imagine this, visan. You're driving to work in the morning. You're already 5 minutes late. Suddenly someone cuts you off. Visan swerves in front of you without signaling and slows down. That happens. Your blood pressure rises, your thickens, and you start yelling inside your tsaho vorse out loud. You slam det staring fel and mutter. And fats wrong vispe oplet teses udause. Let's examine fat atstualle happenet here. Pisan, did the person in front knof you vere late? No. Did they do it personality insult you? Probably not. But in that moment, and you gave your peatse avai, just like that. As strong as bad driving still enough power over your mind, your mouth, and maybe in your entire day. This is fad we man fan say, but don't try to fix the world. Fix your responses, and you can't control for suits you of in traffic, and but you can control fesse your tsare teminside your head for the next 8 hours. Teres a beautiful line that says, but visan. We don't see things as they are, we stem as we are, and that's the truth. When someone speaks rudely, and you fell offended not betause of fat they sight, but betause is amazing inside you was waiting to better get it. A button was terre, reade, and they pushed it. Nof imagine if terre was no button to push. Imagine if you had no place inside you that sold be disturbed by external drama. That's real freedom. That's power, visan. It doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. No, it means you response consciously and instead of reacting automatically. Take another example. Let's say you're at home and your partner is in a bad mood and maybe they snap orgviet, giving you the cold shoulder. Instinctively, what happens? You macht their energy. You get defensive. Visan, you start to argue. Bof who are you treating me liketies of had dit idonof and suddenly the energy in the room is about left. And but what if you told pause in that moment and ask yourself, but what's the response that brings peace visan? Not how, so far if you told simply hold spatze, without reacting, without needing to fix their mode, and stay calm in your center, visan. You'd be amazed how quickly the storm passes when you stop feeding it. Betause here is a little secret. And probably are not looking for someone to win the argument. Deep downs, and they are looking for someone for those lost their inner stillness. Every time you react without awareness, whether it's in anger, visan, judgment, or insecurity, you reinforce a pattern that keeps stuck, you become a puppet. Other people pull the strings, visan, and you dance. But when you stop trying to control what's happening out there, visan, and start taking full responsibility for your reaction in here, you break the titzle. That's where transformation begins. People think need to fix their husband, their children, their workers. But no one has ever succeeded in fixing anyone permanently. What you can fix is the way you made a situation. When you realize this, you no longer walk into a room trying to hang the energy. You become the energy. You radiate sound, visan. You don't push or pull. You rotate, san. That is the secret magnetism of properly fulfilled peaceful. They are not peaceful, but also life is ease, visan. They are peaceful, but also they have stopped to searching their emotional state. You might not be able to stop a storm from coming, but you can stop yourself from being blown away. And let's be honest, the world doesn't need people trying to control everything. And the world needs more people who can stay still in the middle of everything. That stillness doesn't come from a guru or a mantra or a secret formula. It comes the moment you decide. We will no longer give away my power to external events. My response is minutes, and you don't have to yell but excused, but sauce someone raise their voice. Vis and You don't have to take offense just becauze someone was toothless. You don't have to young explode just becauze your plans hanged. Visan, you are not a robot. You are a conscious being. So don't spend your life arranging people like furniture. Visan, drink to make the world perfect before you fail peace. The world will never be perfect. But your response can be an. And when your response becomes conscious, calm and centered, you stop being a victim of life. You become the master of it. And imagine this. You're sitting at home on a Sunday evening, finally getting a moment of breath. A cup of tea in your hand, and soft music's playing, and just as you begin to settle into peace, your phone lights up. It's a message from someone, maybe your boss, son, your partner, a friend, and just a few words on that screen are enough to hear he ask your entire mood. Suddenly your head bad races, your mind races and that peace, gone. Shattered, and the worst part is, didn't even talk you. They just sent a message, but it felt like they reagenside you and pressed a button. Just like that, your sound was switched off. Visan. This is exactly what we mean when we say, take back the remote control of your inner experience, and every time your mood shifts because of something someone else said or did, and it's as if you're handing them the remote control of your inner world, your emotions, your reactions, your mental state. But san, take it you're saying. Vi decide how vi fel. Jo vold hand someone de case to your hose and say, bekomme in budvisan, rearrange de furniture, set de temperature, turn de lights off and on whenever you like. Visan. Is ofgedowe so actually give people permission to rearrange our inner space. Let's take another very ordinary example. And you're standing in line at a coffee shop. The person that's under is distracted, be even a little rude. Visan. Temes up your order, don't apologize, and speak to your like bossering them. In that moment, you have a choice. You can feel disrespected, offended, and let their mood ruin your day. Or you can get the smile, receive the fair sun, and walk away, holding onto your peratze instead of the paper soup. And, tis choice. Dat moment of awareness vgere, you decide vgese to react or renain rotet. Dat schere your powerless. And most people never climb it. Instead, san, they lives reacting like puppets to a very poker and prod world troughs at them. And we often think emotions used to happen to us, but that's not entirely true. Emotions are responses, visan, and responses can be hosen. But only when we realize that the remote is in our hand. Not your mixed eye, but you can't help it. I fel of zourse. No one is saying you shouldn't feel. Emotions are natural, vis an. But letting someone else control those emotions, that is optional. There is a big difference between feeling and reacting. Visan, if a storm comes, you don't pretend the wind is blowing an, but you can still decide to build a shelter or run around in panics. Most of us live like open windows, anything from the outside. A local word, a tone, comes in and disturbs everything inside. An, but what if you had inner thermostat? What if you should say, for no matter how cold or hot is outside, vis an, il keep my internal climate balanced. That's the beauty of taking back the remote, vis an. Let's look at relationships. Maybe the richest ground for losing our remote controls. Jove, someone deeply, but on an argument, visan, on a wrong word, and your entire emotional schizolapses. You say things you don't mean. You slam doors. You cry, and house ladders. When the dust settles, you wonder. Of gedit I let it get to me som much, betsause som efgere, knovingle, visan. Yo handed over the remote. Yo mother yo and psalm dependent on someone else's approval, attention, or behavior, but yo can reverse that. The next time someone says something harsh, and yo felt tarva rising inside yo, pause, take a breath, and remind yourself. This feeling is meant to what, not theirs to control. You can respond instead of reacting, san. You can speak without shouting. You can leave the room without slamming the door. That is not weakness. That is real control. Vision and heres de journey. The more control you have your inner world, the more power you have over your outer world. But sauce people sensate. You become untouchable. Not in a rigid way, but like a mountain, calm, grounded and free. Vision. You become someone else's trust. Not because you agree with them all the time, but because take you lose yourself actually. You are not a puppet. You are not an emotional vending machine reacting to every button done someone pushes. Of source, visan. Taking badge de remote do you best man jomet salt or that tight. On the contrary, it allows you to feel more deeply, but visan. Love more freely and engage more consciously. Because enough, you're enough right of being controlled. And you can listen to criticism without shrinking. You can hear no without feeling reacted. And you can witness drama without being pulled into it. And this does require superpowers. And it just requires remembrance. A simple daily reminder that my emotions are mine. My reactions are mine. My pace is mine. And the world can be noisy. People will be unpredictable. Circumstances will hang. But you can remain steady, serene, and sane, and take a badge the remote. Don't let someone else flip you on else. Your inner experience is your kingdom, and only you should rule it. In livet är det för kins avböle. For simply rats to the environment like a thermometer, rising and falling depending on what is around, what is sight is on. What happens? The osser forsets the emotional climate of an rom te valk into, like a thermostat, visan. They don't get shaken behet åt salt. They regulate it. They decide the temperature visin themselves and some times, even around them. Let's explore this with a simple scene. You walk into your office on a Monday morning. The air feels heavy and maybe people are stressed, the boss is irritated or a worker snaps at you in passing and most people will take that energy and absorb it. Suddenly, start feeling irritated to visan, even though the morning began fully. Without realizing it, they become thermometers reflecting the anxiety and the pressure, the frustration of the spots. No contrast that with a different kind of persons and someone who enters the same spaces calmness with an inner smile with clarity. They great others kindly. Their presence is relaxed. And so slowly you notice something stronger. The room starts to feel lighter. People talk softer. And the tension starts to melt. Not because the problems are gone, but because someone brought a new temperature, a new frequency into the room. That's a thermostat. And that can be you. Being a thermostat means you respond instead of react. It means you take a harge of your internal state and stop letting noise dictate how you feel. People will say, son, about its heart. You don't know my environment. It's true. The world is full of chaos, visan, but reacting to it does make it better. It just multiplies it. When you become reactive, visan, your ure ligger gras in a wildfire. Jag tag de flamme and pass it on. But a thermostat då är something different, an. It senses the house, but it does betsomet. It brings a stillness that subtly transforms the room, not with effort, not with domination, but with take relationships. Maybe your partner is having a bad day, terre mode, distant, son, maybe even rude. Noch if you're a thermometer, jou zat energie aan trofit batsk. They snap jou snap louder. They shutdowns and yo get solder, and so a simple emotional deep turns into a full-blown argument. But if you're a thermostat and yo sense their energy and has a different pass, yo stay warm, yo stay open. Maybe yo say nothing at all, visan, just offer a glance or at salm silence. That moment of steadiness can shift the entire story of the day, and not be controlling them, but be not allowing their emotion to control you. This is not vagueness. It's strength in its purest form. Visan. Most people strengthless is about domination, being louder to uger, more forceful. But real strength is supple. Visan. It's the great power that remains centered feel everything else spins. Yo cities in great leaders, spiritual teachers, even vice grandparents, tend to explode. They don't panic, they simply hold their ground, inwardly calm, outwardly clear, and they don't just speak wisdom, they embody it. Even in ordinary day life, this ability can hang everything, visan. Imagine jure at the grocery store. The cashier is sloth. There is a long line and the man behind you starts complaining loudly. Visan. A thermometer vol absorbed that frustrations, to fell, irritated, maybe even join in the complainings. Boon, at a thermostat vol take a de brass and stikul. Maybe even say some messaging, kind the cashier. A small moment but powerful. Visan. Bezause en energy is contagious, and when your energy is stable, it brings stability to others too. And, but have do you bezome a thermostat, it begins with awareness. Start no teaching when you shift your mode bezause of someone else, and when someone's anger makes you angry, when someone's anxiety bezomes your own. Then pause and ask. Pistis hof ivanto fels, or am used mirroring fats around me, I bezause heres de trus. Visan, just bezause everyone around you, ist denst mea nu have to be. Just bezause somone is rude dost mena you show be. An. Just bezause de rom ist sol dost mean you must frese. You can hose your inner temperature. Vis an. Tis does man you suppress your feelings. It means you regulate them. Vis an. You create a space within yourself that is una fetsted benoise, like a of a storm. That's am center that doest move. Vis. No matter how fast the winds blow, you'll notice over time that this inner stillness bezomes magnetics, but visan. People begin to feel safe around you. Not bezause you fix their problems, but bezause you don't make them worse. An. You someone that one people tun to hen turn to centere drovning, bezause you are de shore. But you don't need to do this for others. Do it for yourself. Bezause when your inner thermostat is steady, your dice stop being emotional roller coasters. You sleep better. You speak better. You make better decisions. And life becomes less about surviving their helpless modes and more about living from your own clarity. This is the secret, and piazza is not the absence of house. It's the ability to remain unhanged bit. So let the world move. Let people be they are, be the thermostat, not salt, not hot, but conscious, constant, and cleared within. Dat kind oft sound doist just survive the world, it hangs it, gvietly, powerfully, from the inside out, and there is a common misunderstanding in the world today, that if you remain some in the face of disrespect, conflicts, or noise, vis an, ten jure väg. Dat somechov, steingschilen hosing notto arguer, valking on avai from house, means jure passive or spinelles. An, but that is not calmness. That is not what real inner stillness is about. True calm is not approval, vis an. It's not saying of what you did is okay. It's not agreeing with the nonsense around you. Calmness is not permission, it is power. Vis an. De kind of power dat doest showt. Dent of power dat dost need to prove anything, vis an. De kind dat rises above the battlefield without needing to swing a single sword. Think about his. You are in a heated conversation with someone, perhaps a friend, at lague, maybe even a family member. And they throwing accusations, blaming you, raising their voice. And every word fails like a hawk, trying to pull you in, and provoke you ignite a fear. Nof must people volt reacts, showed bats themselves. Prove right, and in doing so, they fall right into the emotional trap. But fat if you hosen not to enter that fict. Not out of fear, and not because you were given up, but because you were sin trog the illusion, anis. You were realized that reacting only adds fuel to a fear that never needed to burn in the first place. You stay calm, not because you agree, but because you refuse to let someone else's house control your state. That's not weakness. That's emotional strength. That's self-mastery. Calmness doest mean you let people val over you. It means you have outgrown the net to valk all over them in return. You don't play small games anymore. Visan, you don't engage in battles that just your piazza. Because you understand something most people don't, and not every attack deserves your attention. Not opinion needs your energy. Imagine you're at a family gathering. Visan, everyone is smelling what is being served, and then, as it often happens, someone brings up a sensitive appetite. Politics, religion topics, personal life, a relative size something as offensive or dismissive. Maybe about your career, your choices, your beliefs. Everyone turns to you, waiting to see if you'll react. You soll raise your voice, you soll argue, you soll win the debate, but lose your paths. Or, you soll smile gently brease and say nothing, and not because you've given up your voice, but because you've chosen not to waste it, because you've realized. Sometimes, visan, silence is the loudest response. Sometimes, calmness is the answer that shakes people more than your words ever told. San, there is something unshakable about someone who refuses to be triggered. For meets criticism vis grazie. Visan, for doest all of their hair to be pulled in a very direction used because someone else is emotional. You see, when you remain calm, you maintain your clarity. And clarity, is power. In a world where everyone is defensive and emotionally exhausted, visan, the only who is still but some magnetics. They stand out. They draft people in, visan, not because they're trinto, but because people naturally gravitate towards calm, towards safety, towards presence, and even in leadership this is true. A good leader is not the loudest, only in the room, visan. A good leader is the one who remains composed when everything is falling apart. The one who doest panics, doest rush, doest let pressure crack them. And that same power exists in all of us. Right now. But to access it, visan, you must first untangle calmness from approval. Let's say someone hurts you, liesto you, hurts you, visan. Calmness doest mean you tolerate it. It doest mean you that person close or ignore what happened. No, calmness means you respond visely. Jo set bondaries without bitterness. Jo sai ono without hate, but visan. Jo valkavai without needing to slam the door. That's power. That's psalmvis aspine. You can speak your truth and still be soft. And you can disagree and still be grateful. You can feel anger rise, and yet not let it control your voice. And this is the psalm that don't use reats to it shall believe it. And more importantly, this is the psalm that phrase you and bezause hen you no longer feel the net to reats to explain your to win a very emotional battle. Yo bezome untouchable. Vis an. Not bezause life stops testing yo, but bezause yo stopped giving your energy to a very little test. Life bezome simpler and more fortsuset, more intentional. Yo don't waste your brains on peoplef who are committed to misunderstanding yo, vis an. You don't drown in emotional floods that aren't yours. You stop clapping batsk at a very insulike, it's a shof you been in. An jo valk away. Not bezause jure werk, but bezause jure wisse. Tis is vgat it means to bezalm and powerful, sorrent povemful, san. The next time someone tries to pull into a storm, you don't have to go. Stay in your stillness, and it doest mean you approve of the thunder. It just means you hosen to bedeske. Visan, life is full of invitations. Some arrive in the form of celebrants, opportunities, and conversations that enrich you, visan. Others show as provocation subtle, le or low trying to drag you into battles you never asked for. And here is a simple truth, and just bezause somene trof a rope, you don't have to pitskid up visan. Just bezause somone pushes your buttons doest man you need to press batsk. Every argument is an invitation, but visan. And you always have the hoice to decline. Let's take a relatable situation. You're sitting at dinner, enjoying a peaceful moment, and someone at the table says something designed to trigger you. Maybe it's a political opinion you strongly disagree with, San. Maybe it's a personal you disguised as a yoke. You feel the hair rise in your chest. The words form in your mind, and ready to fire batsk. This is it the invitation. Nof most people accept it without question. They jump in. They argue, and they raise their voice to prove a point, defend their position, courage the other person, and before take off it, and the atmosphere is ruined. Piazza is gone. The thought that is different. And when it's all over, no on attuale povon, and all that remains is tension and regret. But what if in that moment you simply smiled and stayed quiet? Visan, what if you didn't reset to debate? What if you let them speak and hose not to engage? That is power not passive silence, san, but conscious silence. That is the same strength of someone who values the peace more than being right. San, someone who understands that not every hill is worth dying on, and not every opinion needs to be halenged, san. Bezause heres the deeper truth. Vhen people argue, it's rarely about the surface topics. It's not about the movie, the politics, needs, but vis an, the parenting style or the social media post. It's about control. It's about ego. It's about being heard, being validated, visan, being right. And when you step into that arena, you fettering of losing your own center in the process. No, vis, let's be clear. Tis doest mean you avoid all difficult conversations. There is a difference between dialogue and drama, between honesty, communication and emotional warfare. A healthy discussion is built on respect and curiosity. An argument, however, is a battlefield of egos. And in most everyday moments, especially with people closer to you, Arguments arise not from necessity but from habit. Vereacht bezause vevalvais reatstet, someone rolls ter eies, and ve bites. Someone corrects us and ve snap, someone brings up de past, and vere bats kin it like it happenet esterdai, an, but fat if you made a new hoitse. Fat if instead of defending yourself a very time, someone misuse you, visan, you let you peatse do de talking. Fat if, instead of having a proval trog debate, you let go untrusted your own truth. You see, maturity is not about winning a very fict. It's about knowing ficts are was your energy, and most aren't. Tisan, think about this. When you ogwi visa fall, even if you win, have you really won. Visan, all you've done is stepped down to a level where your intelligence and some were no longer leading. Visan, you've given away your power in exchange for a moment of temporary satisfaction. Let's take a simple daily example. Social media. You post something from your heart, something you believe in. Someone comments with sarcasm, a personal attack, visan, or twisted logic, your finger sick. You start typing along, detailed response to prove them wrong. You spend your time, your energy, your attention. All on someone who is interested in understanding, only in provoking. That is the virtual version of attending an argument you were invited, and it was the same way. Why? You leve drained, annoyed, and no closer to peatse. But when you learn to say, pono, thank you, ito that invitation when you stroll past, walk away, san. Or brease trog de urge to respond you keep something very precious intouched. Your clarity. Imagine your mint as a sacred space. Time you argue, you invite house into that space. But when you hose perace over provocation, you keep your space clean, and keep your focus sharp. You stay in control. I takas practice, at silence fes like weakness, like you're giving up, and, but on you realize, you're not giving up, you're rising above. You're not avoiding conflicts. You're mastering your reactions, and there is great dignity in restraint, a depth intelligence in knowing when not to speak, and a rare kind of freedom in not needing to defend yourself at every turn, but sauce in the end, with an people will leve fat teivan to brelieve. You told argue alda and te mikti still neave with the same opinion. So vaste de breas, let your actions speak. Let your psalm be your statement. Let your stillness unsettle the noise. So the next time someone tries to spark your way, before you respond, ask yourself, is this fear worth lichting? And is this worth me energy, me mode, me piazza? If the answer is no, don't attend. Smile, let them keep te rope. You have a better places to be. Like in your stillness, like in your truth, and you are not obligated to show up to a very emotional var you are invited to. Some times, and the strongest thing you can say is nothing at all. And in today's fast-paced, emotionally harget world, reacting has become second nature. Someone zuts us of in traffics ve hongs and ve zurse. At solle ague, takes credit for our idea ve fume. Our partner forgets something important ve snap. Reactions come fast snap, visan, automatisch often unfilteret. They fail justifiet, even necessary, but here is a powerful truth. Reacting is ease. It takes no effort, and no awareness. It's the default mode of a Minton autopilot. But to remain rotted psalm conscious and unshaken in the face of provocations, that's not weakness, that's strength, that's mastery. Let's take a common example. Imagine you're in a long way at the bank. You've had a busy day, you're tired. Just as it's finally your turn, san, someone sits in front of you, pretending not to notice. A very nerve in your body tightens. Your minstrams, san. Of dare te, your hands twit, your mouth opens, and in that split second, you have a hoitse to reats autoranin rotet, an. Most people volt immediately reatst. Teit confront de person, escalate de situation, maibe even arguelo udle, vis an. Attracting stars from verione in line, and even if te win de confrontations an. Te caritat tension vistem for the rest of the day. It sits in te bodica lica residue anger, frustration, irritation, and, but if your mind rotted, something different happens. Yo pause, yo breases, but vis an. Yo as the situation without being controlled by it. Maybe you hose to speak up but from a place of clarity, not raga, vis an. Maybe you hose to let it go understanding that the piazza you protest inside is more valuable than being parity in that moment. And this kind of restraint is not passive. It's not about becoming a doormat. And it's about standing so firm in your center that you don't get pulled into emotional storms, worse, your energy. San. It's the kind of strength that destroyer, but radiates. Bezause heres fachpens fen jou reatst. Jou give your power away. Vis an. Jou hand control over to the situation, the other person, the house. Jou bezome a puppet, and yanket around whatever triggers are thrown your way. But fen jou remain rotted, jou climb that power batsk san. Jou bezome de one forces the next move, not the one bank moved. Think of all three in a storm. The winds howl, sun. The rain crashes down, the ski grows dark. Lavas are tornavai branches violently. And, but the tree that has deep roads does not fall. It might bend, it might tremble, but it stays standing. Wissen. Bezause its strength is in resisting the wind, its in staying connected to the ground beneath. You are a that tree. Life will throw storms at you. People will test your limits. Words will sting. Circumstances will shift. But if you are rooted in awareness, in presence, in inner stability, nothing can truly break you. Not bezause you are indifferent, son. But bezause you are deeply anchored in yourself. Let's bring peace into the realm of relationships. And someone you love says something hurtful. Maybe it was intentional, but it stings. Your immediate instinct is to defend, to blame, to throw back words that mark the wound. And for a moment it feels like a power. But later, wissen, you realize you without more damage than the original hurt. But you had paused. If you had remained rooted, your soul have responded with depth instead of impulse. Your soul have said, or that hurt, with and even to talk about it, but not in anger. It had response rooted, conscious us, Psalm has the power to heal rather than harm. And remaining rooted also allows you to see more clearly. Reactions blue or vision. Take come from old pain, from fear, and rootedness creates space. In that space you can decide about them, or is it about me? Is this moment worth my energy? And is my path really worth trading for a reaction? Let's say someone criticizes you publicly. Instantly you feel a reaction rising. Defend a task, shut them down. But what if you stood firm, talk a breath and listen it? Maybe there is something in the words that can help you grow. Maybe there is just projecting their own struggles. I survive this, and when you don't react, you remain the only in Haga. That is strength, and strength always look dramatic. Sometimes, wissen. Strength is causing stillness when everything around you is for reaction. It's speaking softly when provoked. Visan. It's holding your posture hen osstrito shakeit. It's smiling, not because everything is perfect. Visan. But because you refuse to let house define your inner state. Tis doest man who suppress your emotions. It means you often temps. Visan. You feel them full but you don't betsomet them. You all of the vave to pass without drowning in it. And from that place, your actions are no longer reactions. They are responses me osuret visse empoveret vis an. So the next time leave a trace to pull you off your center. Remember, reacting is ase. Remaining rooted tats real strengths. And in that rootedness, you discover something deeper than peace. You discover freedom. The freedom to be unmoved. And the freedom to hose. The freedom to live, not as a reactor to live, but as a conscious creator of it.